Hey folks, good morning. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat section. Thank you. I hope everyone is good. And so today's session is gonna be very boring because I'm not expecting like not much from price action. So let's see. But I will just read what price is doing. I'm not interested in placing any trades if I don't see a clean, very clean setup, as we have high impact news this week, right? So I'm not expecting price action to be very good. What I'm expecting is something like price manipulating, very choppy, like this. So let's start. So that's our buy side liquidity right above there. BSL. I'm on US30, 4 hour by the way. And our nearest liquidity pool on sell side is down here. That's our first equal low, right? And then we have another two level of equal lows right here, right? And then ultimately we have a daily fair value gap down here. The people who were with me on the last session that I did with about daily bias and stuff, there I talked about what was my target and all that. So if you didn't watch that, you can go there and watch how I decided my bias and all. So what I'm seeing here on 4 hour chart, do you see a breaker block here? I see a breaker block here. Okay, let me mark it out. That's our buy side liquidity, right? That's a higher high here. And what did price did? Price went above and created a new higher high, right? So this down close candles that you see, that becomes our breaker block. We are on 4 hour chart. We will refine our trade ideas and we will refine our ideas on lower time frames. So that's our breaker block on 4 hour, right? And anything else do you see significant other than that? To me, I only see these relatively equal lows. So now let's go on to the 60-minute chart. So what do you see here? These down close candles are our breaker block, right? And what price is doing right now? Price is trading inside of it, right? Do you see it? Okay, so that's our stop hunt. From now on, I will just write it shortly in a short form, SH. I hope you will understand. That's the stop hunt, short form of stop hunt. And price did went below the breaker block, right? Do you see it? Price did went below the breaker block and price is really close to this swing low, right? So if price closing a candle's body below the breaker block, what do I what I wanna? That's a sign of what? That's a sign that price wanna remain heavy towards sell side, right? Once you hear the same stuff again and again from my mouth, like I'm repeating the same stuff every day, right? I'm only taking execution with breaker block and all that. So once you like hear a lot of breaker block words from my mouth, you'll one day you'll get bored, right? So anyway, I'm not bored with breaker block. So that's our stop on. That's our breaker block on hourly chart. We got the idea of breaker block from the 4 hour chart, right? And then we came down to the hourly chart and refined our trade idea. So now let's go on to the 50-minute. And what do you see? Price is aggressively coming downwards and price is aggressively moving towards this sell side liquidity, right? These relatively equal lows, that's what price is hunting right now. And let's go on to the 5-minute chart and let's see if we see any trade idea. Okay, so I see relative equal highs right here. Do you see that? So price left this relative equal high. If price was like coming up and taking this relative equal high, then I would have entered in my I would have thought about taking a trade. But what do you see here? Price came all the way up and left this relative equal high, but price did generated a breaker block. Do you see a breaker block in this choppiness? Let me know. In this choppiness, in this price action, do you see a breaker block? What I'm gonna do today, I'm not gonna execute, but I'm gonna identify the setups from hindsight and in live charts, right? So do you see any breaker block here? Well, I see a breaker block. These down close candles that you see right here, that becomes our breaker block. Now you will ask me why. Why Hydra? Price left a relative equal high right here. Price did not created a new higher high. But you also have to keep in mind that we are on lower time frame. We are on 5 minutes, right? So do you see buy side liquidity here? Yes, I see relative equal highs here. That's the buy side liquidity. I see relative equal highs here. So price did offer buy side liquidity, right? Price did created a new higher high. So these down close candles, last down close candles becomes our breaker block. Okay, three candle, yeah, these three down close candle that becomes our breaker block. And what do you see here, right? Price close the candles body below. Did price gave you a chance to enter? For me, I only take entries from 820 to 830, right? But that's not a rule for you. You can go out and take a setup when it forms like this. For me, I'm very strictly following my rules because I know when I did not follow my rules, I was like seeing losses after losses. So when I was only executing on like 820 to 830, then 920 to 930, in between those times, my win rate increased and all that. So I'm not gonna do that personally, but I'm telling you, like if you are taking breaker block as your entry model, then you will see breaker block everywhere. Okay, it's not bound to time. I myself is bounding it to time. I myself is limiting it to time because of me, because I cannot control my emotions. But it may be a different case for you. So what do you see here? Price closing candles body below. Price gave you a two chance to enter, right? But that was not in my time zone. That's why I didn't took that trade. And it was kind of like messy setup to me because price did not clear the buy side liquidity here. If it was clearing buy side liquidity and not generating a equal high here, then I would have thought about taking a trade here. But anyway, let's look at what price is doing right now. What do you see? Price generated a breaker block on hourly chart, right? Price closing on this body below the breaker block. Did price give us a chance to enter? No, it was aggressive, very aggressive. So some of you are so new that you ask me like Hydra. One time I hear you say like once price closes the candle's body below, then I should enter. And sometimes you are like taking entry before price closing a candle's body below. So it when you see me entering before price closing a candle's body below the breaker block, I'm taking a turtle soup entry. So that wisdom, it comes after experience. You are a beginner. You are just exploring breaker block concept, right? You will not see price like before it closes a candle's body below the breaker block. It will be very aggressive for you as you are a beginner. Once you become experienced seeing this again and again, every day, every month, you will become confident enough to take a trade before price closes a candle's body below the breaker block. Why? Because you will have other confirmations, right? You will see price coming all the way up in a premium zone, right? That's what I see. I see price coming in a premium zone. That's what a confirmation for me when I'm taking with taking an entry with breaker block. Then price also does a stop hunt, right? That's another confirmation. So I'm telling you to enter once price closes the candle's body below the breaker block because some of you are very new here. Once you like get used to see this setup again and again, you will become confident enough to take this entry. But until then, just follow the rules. So price gave us an entry here, and price is just hunting this sell side liquidity right here, right? That's a relative equal low. I showed you when I started my stream. Equal low, I'm just gonna mark it equal low, and it's here as an internal sell side liquidity. I hope everyone knows what an internal and then an external range is, right? So that's the internal CSI liquidity. And look at this level. Look at these relative equal lows. What my mentor tells me to do is when I see clean levels like this, he tells me to target these levels, right? He never, if you were an ICT trader, you will never hear from our mentor's mouth. He's telling once price creates a double bottom, triple bottom, then you should buy. No, he always tells us to target that, right? So what you are seeing right here, price delivered buy side liquidity, price came all the way down and hunting this relatively equal lows, right? That's what the magic of tape reading, like tape reading gives you the wisdom to like think about price action. When we are trading, we are only thinking about money. Okay, if I enter here, will I make money? But when you are tape reading, you are learning. You are asking yourself why price is doing what it is doing. That's what builds your experience. That's why ICT is like so focused on tape reading, right? You will always see him mentioning do tape reading, do not push the button. Why he says do not push the button? Because if you push the button, what you are doing, you are letting your emotions control yourself. You are thinking about money. But what I am doing here right now, I'm thinking about chart, I'm thinking about price action. I'm not thinking about money, because I know price generates unlimited setup when there's no news, right? Price generates clean setup. So once there's no news and price becomes like in low resistance liquidity round, price will generate a lot of setup, then I can take a lot of setup. So why should I rush, right? There's no point of rush. So let's look at DXY, right? Dollar is our mother, so without dollar there's no analysis that will be valid. So let's go on the daily chart. Let's do a top-down analysis on dollar. Now we are inside of our macro zone, right? 820 to 830, and I don't see a setup here. I don't see a setup to execute here. Do you see a setup for 830 on US30? I do not see a setup. If price was doing something like this right now, then I would have thought about an entry, but it's not in our entry zone and price went below the breaker block, right? That's a lot of movement, and if I'm entering here, that would be a lot of risk for me to take an entry. I can see price easily coming down here and taking out this relative equal lows, but for that I will have to see a setup. I do not see a setup. Let's go on the 1 minute chart. Let's see what if no setup anywhere. But on 1 minute chart, I do see a swing high here, right? So if price is going above this swing high, right? So we will have a breaker block right here. So that's what I'm telling you before a setup is forming. So for if you were a beginner, you won't see that. Once price takes the swing high and then comes down, that's the time when you will see a setup forming. But for me, because I'm experienced, I saw this setup forming again and again. I can see like before it forms or not. Slim Shade is saying it won't work. Yeah, let's see. I'm not like very confident in this trade or today or in this week because of the high impact news. But let's see what price does, right? If for me, if I want to take a trade idea, if I want to take a trade, I want to see price coming up like this. Wait, like this, and then coming down, right? And then hunting the sell side liquidity. So as soon as price goes below this level, I'm gonna execute. Until then, I'm just gonna observe. Let's put the US 500 here on the right section because I wanna see what US 500 is doing on 1 minute chart. Because they generate SMT, right? So I want to see if price is generating an SMT, so that would be an extra confirmation for me to take this trade. Other than that, I'm not taking any trade if price is not giving me like a 70% confirmation. I can see a fair value gap right here. So today I will share an indicator with you all. That's a very, very useful indicator if you're an ICT trader, if you do a lot of back testing, right? Then this indicator, Power of 3 Pro Plus, this indicator will be a game changer for you. It's a game changer for me. So what this indicator does, basically, it shows you chart, higher time frame candles, next to 1 minute candle. So suppose I want to see 5 minute chart, right? That's a pro indicator. If you want to get this indicator, you will have to pay. So that's a very cool indicator. What do you see here? So what this indicator does, it actually plots candles from the higher time frame so that you can see power of three, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. What ICT tells us to go on higher time frame and see how those candles close, right? But a lot of you don't have a subscription on like TradingView, so you don't get to see the other chart. But with this indicator, look at this indicator, you can customize how many candles you want to see. If you only want to see, like, suppose 3 candles, you can put it here on the higher time frame candles, and it will only show you 3 candles. What do you see right here? It's showing me 3 candles from 5 minute chart, right? If you want to see the whole fractal, whole price swing, you can tell this indicator to show you 15 candles. And what it will do, it will generate 15 candles from the higher time frame. Isn't it cool? So this candle, let me know in the chat section, do you guys want this indicator? Let me know in the chat. Like, you can customize it to like 5 minute, 15 minute, hourly, daily. You can see every candle right next to your chart, right? Yeah, so this indicator is from my brother, my G, 2 degrees. So if you want this, a big shout out to him. 2 degrees, he generates very high quality indicators, ICT indicators. So this indicator that I showed you right now is from him. So if you want to buy it, you can go to his Twitter account and text him about that. It's not free, but he has other free indicators like the one that I'm gonna show you right now. I showed you this Pro Plus indicator. Then I got another indicator from 2 degrees. This is a macro indicator, right? So what this indicator does, it plots lines on your chart, right? So for me, I have a macro at 820 to 835. So what this indicator does, this indicator uh, plots the time 820 to 835. That indicator like zone the time, and then it shows the macro. So you don't have to draw the indicators by draw the lines, sorry, draw the lines by yourself. The indicator do it for you. Indicator will do it for yourself. So that's a very cool indicator. If you are into these things, you can go to his page, 2 degrees, that the page that I showed you on Twitter, and you can text him. This indicator is free. The indicator that shows macro time zone, that is free. So we are inside of our macro zone, right? We are inside our 820 to 830. Now it's 832. If price is not closing a candle's body below the breaker block by 835, I'm not gonna take this trade. Because after that, what do we know? That's the manipulation zone, right? After 835. So I can see like 300 people watching. Can we guys go to 100 likes? Can you guys do that? Let's go to 100. See what I'm telling you? You are seeing it in front of you, live, printing. So if you want top analysis like this, hit the like button and show the support towards the channel, right? That's what I want from you. So price is coming down. I want to see price coming down and closing candle's body in 3 minutes, in 2 minutes. Other than that, I'm not taking this trade. So let's see what price is doing on like 5 minute chart. Let's put our 5 minute, and I want to see 10 candles. So that's a 5 minute chart. Right next to that, you see these big candles. That's a 5 minute chart. What price did what on 5 minute? Price came all the way up, right? Look at US 500. It's very volatile, but compared to US 30, it's not that volatile. Price did hit a fair value gap, right? On 5 minute chart, that candles that you are looking at right next to me, that's from 5 minute chart. So that's a very high probability setup that I see. But let's see. We still have 1 minute for price to close a candle's body below the breaker block. If price is not doing that, I'm not taking this trade. So the stop hunt that you see price did here, it was actually inside of a 5 minute breaker block. Sorry, 5 minute fair value gap. Okay, wait. Our macro time is over. Do you see how this indicator plotted our time zone, marked our time zone? It started at 8:20 and then it closed at 8:35. Now, if price is closing candle's body below the breaker block, I will not execute. But if you want to take the risk, you can, but I won't. I won't press the button because the time is over. Right, it's now 8:35 and we are now in a manipulation zone. Price will now manipulate until 9:20 to 9:30. Do we have a high impact news today? I don't think so, right? We don't have a high impact news. Let's see. Yes, we don't have a high impact news on Monday. There's no news, it's empty. But on Wednesday, just look at this. On Wednesday, we have at 8:30 CPI, then at 10 BOC monetary policy report. Wow. I'm doing a live stream on this Wednesday, April 12th, and I will do tape reading about CPI. I will tell you the targets for CPI. For CPI, our targets will be on 1 hour and 4 hour charts. Okay. When we do like regular tradings, we are targeting 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute. But on CPI, I will take you guys on 4 hour, 1 hour chart, and 15-minute chart, and we will see price action there. We will not push the button before the CPI and before the 10 o'clock news. After the CPI and 10 o'clock news, we'll look for setup. Or maybe we won't because at 2 o'clock there's a FOMC meeting, right? So Wednesday there's no trading for me. Tuesday there's no trading for me. Uh, so let's see if price does provide us a setup today. Otherwise, we'll just have to sit down and let this week go. What do you see here? After the zone that I'm telling you, price will manipulate from 8:35 till 9:20, right? What do you see price doing here? Is price presenting us any clean setup in between these times? No, price is just chopping around, and you will see price chopping around until when? Until 9:20. Okay, Batshal is saying today is also bank holiday on Europe, but what we are trading on US30, that's a related pair with USD. So it's not gonna be impactful on US30 if the banks on Europe is closed. But if you're trading on Euro USD, that will be like a very choppy price action today because bank is closed, right? So let's look at dollar. There's no setup right now. Do you see a setup? Do you see price closing a candle's body below the breaker block? No. I told you, I gave you a time. Do you see like what I'm telling you? The exact same thing in price doing, price repeating. I told you if price is not closing a candle's body before 8:35, after that I will not execute. It doesn't matter after that if price is closing a candle's body below. Why did I told you that? Because after that price manipulation. That's what you will see here. That's what you will see every single day. Sometimes price does present a setup, but it's just a trap, you know. Like once in a while, you will see price giving a very clean setup at 8:35 till 9:30, 9:20, but you do not execute at that time because you build the patience in you, you know. Because if you are executing 8:35 till 9:20, then where's your patience? You are not patient. You will do the same thing when price is not clean, right? So that's the very reason I do not execute even if I'm looking at a very clean setup. So that's the manipulation zone. That's what I'm marking, right? That's the time period from 8:35 till 9:20. What do you see? Price is very slow, and before that, price was very volatile, right? That move that happened here, see how aggressive price was towards the downside. And why is it so slow? Because it's a manipulation zone. Okay, Real HD, I thought you were in my live stream yesterday. He is asking, I thought your macro is from 8:20 to 8:30. Why do you say 8:35? Because yesterday in my last live stream, I mentioned we extend the macro till 5 minutes and we look for setup till 5 minutes, 8:35. In between this time, if price is not presenting a setup, we do not execute. So price is just chopping around. Let's go on dollar. I'm talking about dollar, not saying anything. So dollar, in my last live stream, if you guys remember, I told you for me to get bearish, price will have to close a candle body below this breaker block, right? That's a breaker block. Uh, that's a swing low right here, and price did went below this swing low. So this the up close candles right here, this becomes our breaker block, right? And what do you see here? Price coming all the way down, right? Price did close the candle's body below the midway. Price did close the candle's body below the breaker, so I'm not bullish on dollar until I'm seeing price getting support, price going above these last up close candles. Why? Because that's the order block, right? That's the order block. In past, price did reject off from this order block, and there's a volume imbalance right here. That's a volume imbalance. So if we are not seeing a rejection in price in dollar from this zone, this order block, and then this volume imbalance, I'm gonna be very bullish on dollar. But until then, I'm bearish on dollar. So let's go on the lower time frame. Let's go. That's a daily chart on DXY. Let's go on to the 4-hour chart and let's see what price is doing. So what do you see on the 4-hour chart? To me, I see a volume imbalance right here, right? And then I see a breaker block. But I don't think it's gonna be a very strong breaker block. But let's mark it out and let's see what price does, right? We are tape reading, we are gaining experience. I'm not someone who is like experienced with 5 or 10 years of trading. So I'm not the one you wanna learn from, but I'm the one like you wanna keep in background and you wanna listen to. Think of me as a background noise, right? Don't let your analysis change because of me. So that's the swing high. What price did? Price went above, cleared the swing high, price generated another swing high, right? That's a new higher high. So these down close candles becomes our breaker block. And what price did here? Price took a swing low right here. Do you see? That's a swing low, right? Price came down. Okay, did price hit this fair value gap? We have a fair value gap right here. That's a BPR because right next to it we have fair value gap, right? That's a BPR. So let's see if price tapped into this. No, price did not tapped into the this fair value gap. So now what I want to see price getting rejected from this breaker block. But let's measure the breaker block and let's see what dollar is doing. What dollar wanna? So if price is closing in this body above the midway, right? I'm not bearish on dollar. Let's see on hourly chart. Let's go on to the 60-minute chart. Yes, so price is above our midway. So if we are not seeing price rejecting off from these two zone, let me mark the zone for you. This 0.5 and 0.75, right? If we are not seeing a rejection in price from these two zone, I'm bullish on dollar. Until then, I'm bearish. And we do have relative equal lows on dollar on downside, and then we have an unfilled fair value gap here. Let me mark it for you. That's the unfilled fair value gap, and below that we have another unfilled fair value gap, right? So let's see what dollar does. Okay, so what do you see here? What is price doing? Chopping around. And price will do choppy. Price will become choppy. When did I told you? Before it became choppy, right? So can I get a thumbs up for that? For sharing so much valuable information for free. Who is there to tell you that not to trade in 835 to 920? Did you ever heard that from anyone else before? No. People don't share it for free. They put it for put this knowledge for their private mentorship. And what do you see here? Price manipulating, and price will do that until 920. Do you see any clean setup in between this time? And now tell me, did you ever execute it in between this time and saw a loss? I bet you did. I bet you did, right? So that's the time you want to ignore. Yeah, you can hear it from ICT, right? Okay, thank you. Then why didn't you tell anyone else before? Jawala Dube, he's saying he heard the information in 2016 mentorship. But did you share that information with anyone else? You kept it inside you, right? So I'm just gonna like remove you. I don't want you to watch the live stream. So Jawala Dube, he's removed. This guy is saying he knew this information not to trade from 8:35 till 9:20. He heard this information from ICT in 2016. So if you did, why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you share with us on Twitter? Some people are so jealous, like when they heard me saying this stuff for free, they become jealous. Let's look at US 500. Let's see what price is doing there. Yes, on US 500 on 1 minute, I do not see anything, but I do see relative equal highs right here, right? I do see relative equal highs right here. So let's see what price does with this relative equal high. And let's go on to the 5 minute chart. We have unfilled fair value gaps here. And do we have a strong level of sell side liquidity? Let's go on to the 60 minute chart. On US 500, we do not have a strong level of sell side liquidity right here. Right? Because there's no equal low, relative equal low. I do not see any relative equal low on US 500. But there is a relative equal lows on US 30, right? So do you see the benefit of sticking with one pair? If I was analyzing and getting like signals from every other chart, like suppose I'm trading on US 30, but at the same time I'm getting confirmation from US 500, US 100, but I'm mainly focused on US 30. Do you know why? Because if I was looking at US 30 yesterday, I would have been bullish. You know why? Because there's no equal high, right? And you see a SMT with US 500 on US 30. If you go on 60-minute chart, you will see a SMT there. So every person yesterday was bullish, right? But we are looking for bearish scenario. We are looking for a setup. Let's see if price presents us any setup. I do not see any setup. Rahul P, he's asking, how can I join your Telegram channel? It's on my about section on YouTube. You'll get the links there. Does the macro also work on EU and TU? I do not know if it does work on Forex pairs, but I do know that in Forex there are different macros. I do know that. I have some friends who do trade on Forex and they have their own macro. So if they're ever willing to share with you all, you will know. Until then, I personally do not know like if there's a macro on Forex because I never traded on Forex. Let's look at Euro USD. On Euro USD, what do you see on Euro USD? We did had a macro, right? Our indicator 820 to 830, that's our macro on indices. But on Euro USD, well, I do see a breaker block setup on Euro USD. That's a stop on that price did, right? Let's go on to the higher time frame. Let's see if it's a valid trade idea. If we have any targets, 60-minute. Yes, we have this unfilled fair value gap on Euro USD, and price just filled that. And we have another unfilled fair value gap. So you can keep in mind these two fair value gaps, right? So let's go into the 5-minute chart. Let's see if I see any setup. 3-minute. On 3-minute, I do see a setup. So so these two down close candles, are breaker block, right? I do not trade on forex. I do not trade on EU. Just because someone is asking me on group chat, I'm looking at this pair. Because on US30 there's nothing to do, right? US30 is just manipulating. So let's look at other charts and let's see what price is doing. I'm not gonna take this trade because I don't know how this pair move, but I do see a setup here, and I do also see relative equal highs on 5-minute chart. The candles that you see right here, that's the 5-minute candle from the 5-minute chart, and we do have an unfilled fair value gap above. So just keep that in mind, right? Price did left an equal high on 5-minute chart, but on 1-minute chart, price did went above uh, a swing high, and price did hit a premium zone. That's a premium PD array on 1-minute chart for Euro USD. Okay, what I saw on Euro USD, like when it generates equal high, it does not like to come up and take these equal highs out. It left these relative equal highs. So if price is closing a candle's body below the breaker block, you can look for a trade idea on Euro USD. Let's go back to the US30. We'll come back to Euro USD again, and we will see what price did. Until then, we are just stopping. So do you see the power of knowledge, the power of knowing what to do and when not to do something? If you were pushing the button right now, you would have been very high with your emotions, right? You would have been not trading with your like emotions, not thinking clearly, but you will be very like very choppy with this price action. This price action is not presenting to us any clean setup. Can you share the indicator settings on Power 3? It depends on you, right? That's the setting. I'm using a Pro Plus, so that's a paid indicator. That's the setting. You can take a screenshot. I was long on Euro USD and I stopped out. Yeah, I don't know because I don't trade on Euro USD. Can you share the indicator settings? Yes. What do you mean by equal highs? A question from Jai Jai. Bro, equal highs are like when price goes above and left a swing high. That's a equal high. That's a relative equal high. I think you are very new. You have a long way to go, you know? Okay, I do see price closing candle's body below the breaker block on US30. So today's price action is very boring, right? I told you guys on Telegram today's price action will be very boring because of this. Because when there's a high impact news like CPI and FOMC, before that price very rarely present to us a clean setup. Price will do something like this all day, whole day, and suddenly out of nowhere it will become volatile. So on dollar, are we seeing price rejecting off from this zone from 0.5 and 0.75? No. So price is very aggressive and price is not rejecting. Do you see any rejection in price in between these two zones? No. So what does it indicate us? What is is it a sign for price to remain heavy on a buy side? Yes. So what can we target on buy side? We can target this relative equal high. Do you see this relative equal high? Yes, I do see this relative equal high. So this relative equal high will be a very good target. Now let's go to the 50-minute chart. Let's see if price is presenting any setup. No, price is very aggressive towards the buy side, right? And price did closed a candle's body. So I get a lot of question like how do you know when price will fail from a breaker block, right? That's a breaker block that I outlined in front of you. And what did I told you? If price wanna get support, if dollar wanna get support from this breaker block, then I don't wanna see price coming all the way up, closing a candle's body above the midway. And what do you see price doing here? Price did came all the way up, and price did close the candle's body above the breaker block. And then what did I above the midway of the breaker block? And then what did I told you? I told you I don't want to see price right getting aggressive in between these two zones, from this midway and from this upper quadrant 0.75. And what do you see here price doing? Price moving aggressively towards buy side, right? From these two zones. So I do not expect dollar to see bullish anytime soon until we are taking these relative equal highs, or until we are seeing any kind of rejection in lower time frames. Like suppose on 15-minute, do you see any rejection of any kind in between these two zones? Right? That's our midway and that's our upper quadrant. Do you see any rejection in price from these two zones? No, I do not see. So is it gonna be logical for me to think that on dollar it's bearish? No, it's not logical for me to think dollar is bearish right now. What I see in front of me, I'm telling you, and that's what price is doing. I want to see price dollar becoming aggressive and clearing this relative equal highs that we saw on 60-minute chart. Okay, on US30, our target is clear. I gave you a target. That's our target. But do we execute? We can see a setup, but do we execute every time? No. We built our patience like this. Dealing ranges, I do not care about dealing range. All I care about a breaker block, and that's it. That's my model. I do not care about IPDA. To be honest, to me, I do not understand IPTA. So do I need to understand IPDA, like the IPTA 60-day, 40-day, 20-day? For me, if I go on the like higher time frame, I do not understand that. So I just don't trade with IPTA dealing ranges. What I do trade with a breaker block and my macro zones. And I can challenge you. Come here and trade with your dealing range and IPTA, the things that you understand, right? Some of you make ICT concepts so complex to understand. Why? Do you see me mixing a lot of setup, a lot of concept? ICT has hundreds of concept. You don't need all of them. That's what I'm showing to you here. What's the meaning of me coming in front of you and trading live? Me showing you that there's a model that you can trade. There's a one model that you can pair with time, and it presents itself and it repeats. Every successful trader out there, if you ask them when do you trade, they will tell you they have a specific range, specific time that they trade. And that's why they're successful. That's why they're successful, because they are patient. Every one of you that I see on chat, you are not patient. Every one of you are looking for setup every day, all day. Why? You don't want to be a successful trader, right? Do you not want to be a successful trader? Well, I do. So on US 500, I do not see anything. It's choppy. It's choppy like this. So if price is rejecting from this breaker block, right? We did took a setup. Like if you are confident, you can take this setup, but I will not engage in this marketplace because it's not in my time zone. But I do see a setup, and it's gonna be something like this. Your stop loss can be here, and your target would be here. but it's not in my time zone, so I'm not gonna take this trade. We'll just keep an eye on what price does here, right? If price does come all the way up and hit our stop loss, we are not in a trade, right? We are just looking at what price wanna do. It's 9 o'clock, right? We still have 9:20 to 9:30 macro to get activated, so I will personally wait for 9:20 to 9:30 macro to get activated and then look for a setup. If price coming all the way down and hitting this internal sell side liquidity, I do not care. I am willing to miss this setup because that's not my time zone that I take a setup, right? But maybe it can be for you. You can take a setup. You can take this trade. But for me, no, I won't. Can we get to 200 likes? Guys, can we do that? So what I did, I limited myself in between one setup. When I was a beginner, like 6 months ago, I was looking for a setup with fair value gap, with order block, with SMT, and I was losing more than I was winning, you know? Like if you look at yourself, you are taking trades with everything out there. You wanna be a pro, but you won't be a pro in 6 months. It will take a time. But if you bound yourself with one setup, right? It gives you the wisdom, it gives you the patience that you lack. Why I only trade in macro zones? Because it builds the patience in me that I lack, right? All the trader, we want patience in ourselves. So that's how I made a strategy, and my strategy comes with built-in patience. And how did I do that? My mentor, Michael Huddleston, he gave me this idea to look for setup in between specific time zones, right? So if price is like doing something like this at 8 9:20, I will take this trade. Until then, I'm just waiting and I'm just looking at chart. Do remember that on US 500 we have a relative equal high right here, right? So relative equal high means what? Price still have uh, business left to do on the buy side, right? So that's what I'm not very confident in this trade, in this setup, because of this relative equal high. I mentioned this relative equal high before, that I will keep an eye on this relative equal high. Okay, Vabs asked a very good question. You had very bearish bias for US30 in yesterday's video. If perfect bullish breaker during macro comes up, will you be taking it? Yes. I do not care about the bias. Bias for me, it's short term. If price is presenting me a bullish setup, I do have a relative equal high here, so I can target that if price is presenting me a bullish setup. But for me to get bullish, I want to see price offering a major level of sell side liquidity in this zone. So let's measure our breaker block. It's on 1 minute chart. Let's see if price has a breaker block on 3 minute. On 3 minute, there's no breaker block, right? So that's not a very high probability setup, because uh, we want to see breaker block on 5 minute, 3 minute, and 1 minute together. But do we see a breaker block here? On it's only on 1 minute, right? And price is present. If let's measure the breakup block and let's see if price is closing contest body above the midway. I'm still waiting for my macro 9:20 to 9:30. That's the time when I will engage. Until then, I'm just watching. I can trade with a bias and without a bias. And if you are here with me watching my live stream every day, you will know that. For because I'm executing on 1 minute, right? I'm only looking for short-term trading ideas. My bias is bearish. That's a long-term bias. That's a bias for days. But am I holding my trades for days? I'm only holding my trades for 10 minutes. For do I need a bias to do that? No, I do not need a bias to execute on 3 minute, 1 minute, and 5 minute. But for a long-term idea, I do need a bias, right? So no one was 2000. Okay, no one is asking like when is it the best time to move from a uh, demo account to a real account, right? When you become consistent, not consistent once, but consistency. If you can show the consistency in your demo account and you are consistent for like months, then you can think about moving to live account. Because what I did, like when I joined ICT last year on June, he was telling like do trade on demo, do not place any trade on like live account until you are consistent. And what I did, I like traded for 1 month on demo, and I was seeing like, okay, I'm seeing a result, then I can go on my live account and then I can push the button. And as soon as I went to the live account, you won't believe all the emotions, like all the emotions of being greedy, impatient, all that came back to me when I was in my live account. But when I was on my demo account, I didn't have those feelings because that's not a real money, right? So once you become consistent, once you can do consistently make money on a demo account, then you can move on like a real account. But in between, like don't trade every day on demo. Like after, suppose if you can show a consistency for a week on demo, next week try to trade on live account, right? Next week see that if you are able to control your emotions on your like uh, real account. So if you are in this trade, close it. Because do you see now why I do not take a trade in between 9:20 8:35 and 9:20? Do you see why I told you not to take a trade, right? That's the time period when price will manipulate it. What do you see here? Price is manipulating a lot. Price did close the candle's body above the breaker block, above the midway of the breaker block, right? So price is just manipulating. I do not trust this price action. Just let's see if price presents us any setup. I will do the live stream till 10:10, right? That's our third macro. And if price does not provide a clean setup, I will close the live session. So as I was saying, like once you see the consistency in you in demo account, only after that you can consider yourself pushing the button in real account. But like if you are new, if you don't have experience like with real account, once you go to the real account, you will see like all the emotions, greediness, impatience will come back to you, and you will have to fight that. Okay, so don't open your live account for like with a big money. Open a live account for like 200 $500, and let's see if you can control your emotions, and let's see if you can execute with logics. Like me, I'm executing with logic, no emotions here. Do you see any emotion here? No. If I was entering after 8:35 till 9:20, then I would have like showed you emotions. Then I would have been like, oh my god, what is gonna do? Oh my god, it's hitting my stop loss. But do you ever see me doing that? Why? I'm only executing in between certain time periods, and if price is hitting my stop loss, I do not care because I know that my setup repeats, right? So that's all. Like if you are opening a demo live account, and you are a beginner, open with like a 500 account, $500 account, and then see if you can control the emotions. If you cannot, stick with the demo account until you can control your emotions in a live account. Let's look at this. We didn't look at NAS today, right? Okay, so what do you see on dollar? Dollar is very, very bullish, right? And what did I told you? I told you that I want to see price coming all the way up and hitting this, clearing this equal high. Let's go on Nasdaq. Okay, on Nasdaq, did you heard me mention on my last stream that I want to see price rejecting from this volume imbalance? Yes, you did. When price was here, right? When price, let's go to our today's price action. When price was in this second candle, in this second bearish candle, I told you that I want to see price rejecting and off this new week opening gap, sorry, off this volume imbalance and remain heavy towards sell side. I told you, I gave you that information before it printed, before price showed you all this price action. It was there, it's live. You can go and check out, right? And I not only told you that I want to see price remain heavy, I also told you why I want to see price remain heavy. Do you remember that? I took you on a 50-minute chart, if you remember, and I showed you this zone, right? A lot of you are gonna say, oh, okay, he is doing hindsight. No, bro, if you go back to my live stream, you'll see me saying that I predicted this whole move before it happened with logic, no emotions here. So on Nasdaq, what I do see, price did close the candle's body below the midway of this fair value gap, right? That's a fair value gap. And what do you see? In this candle, you want to look at price candle by candle. And this candle, price did rejected from the midway, right? If I measure the fair value gap, do you see how nicely price rejected? So that's a trap. If you don't have other confirmations, you will think like, okay, price did close the candle's body above the midway, so I'm bullish right now. No. Are we in a bullish trend? That's a bearish trend, right? So trend is our friend. That's an old proverb, right? We all know that. We should follow the trend. So price did close the candle's body below the midway of the breaker block, also below the lower quadrant, also below the breaker block. So to me get bullish again on Nasdaq, right? For me to get bullish again on Nasdaq, I want to see price coming all the way up and closing a candle's body above the midway of this fair value gap. Until then, I'm very bearish, and what I want to see price coming down, and that's our target. That's our next zone. That's a swing low, right? And where's our nearest drawn liquidity? Our nearest drawn liquidity is right here. Now let's go back to US30. Wow, on US30, what do you see? Price did close the candle's body above, right? So when price closed the candle's body, I wasn't in this trade. I told you I'm not taking this trade, but I gave you a chance. Like if you are willing to take the risk, you can. And when price was here, I told you to close it. Do you see the precision? Do you see the precision inside of an ICT student? When price is going to do something, he knows it. When price is going to do something, he also knows it. He knows when to avoid his trade ideas. He knows when to engage. Right? So I told you to close your trade if you were in any trade on 0 when price was here. And if you were holding and not listening to me, that's a very big loss for you. Not for me. I'm patient. I'm showing market that I'm patient, right? Nick B is asking, did you attend his paid mentorship? No, I did not. All I learned from 2022 mentorship. Okay, how I started my journey with ICT. I started my journey with ICT from 22 to 22 mentorship. When I started, he didn't had the core content. Otherwise, I would have started from there. So if you're a beginner, I will recommend you to watch core mentorship contents first, and then 22 mentorship, and then everything else. So I started with 22 mentorship, right? I stick with it, and when he launched core content, then I looked at the core content. I saw the breaker block. And before that, he was doing some live commentaries, live trading, right? He was doing tape reading session, and I saw him mentioning that like breaker block a lot of times. And once I was like executing with breaker block, that's the day I knew that that's my model. That's the model that I should stick with. So price did came all the way up. Price did hit our 5 minute fair value gap. Do you guys remember me saying there was a 5 minute fair value gap that was unfilled? So that was our 5 minute fair value gap, right? Price did came all the way up. Price did hit the fair value gap again. Price did took the uh price did offered like buy side liquidity here. So this becomes our premium zone, right? I'm very confident in 920 to 930 macro. Let's see what price present to us. That's a premium PD array. Now let's go to the 3 minute chart. Let's see if we see it. Yes, on 3 minute we do see a clean breaker block, right? That's our clean breaker block. Okay, so for the people who see a different trade idea right here, you can carry on with your trade idea. I'm not interested in what you are doing. I'm only interested in what I'm doing. Okay, I do not care if you are taking a trade with other concept. Me personally, I'm only gonna take trades with breaker block. So I do see a setup on 3 minute. I do see a setup on 1 minute. Right, so let's wait for the confirmation and let's see what price is doing. That's a premium PD area, right? That's how you know if price is in a premium zone or a discount zone. Where is our discount PD area? Our discount PD area is right here. DISU event, okay, everything is correct. That's our discount PD area. But let's see if price presents us any setup. Until then, I'm just waiting. I'm just being patient. Look at this indicator. I discovered about this indicator yesterday. 2 degrees. My friend he shared this indicator with me yesterday, and I was doing back testing with it, and I was like, oh my god, this indicator is a game changer for me, because when you are doing back testing, it's very hard, right? It's very complex to look at 1 minute, then 3 minute, then 5 minute. But if you have a chart right next to it, right next to you, and that's showing different time frames like 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute, that's a very good indicator for back testing, right? Okay, someone is asking what kind of indicator is that? It's an indicator that shows you price from different time frames. Okay, suppose if I was backtesting here, I will show you guys how this indicator works. It's a very cool indicator. Big shout out to my brother, 2 degrees. He did it very nicely, right? So just look at this, how this indicator present itself, right? If I was looking for a trade here, and if I was looking for a candle's body closure below this breaker block, right? Suppose if I'm past forwarding, what do you see? Price also printing a candle's body here. So you don't have to go to the 5 minute chart and look what 5 minute chart is doing. It makes your back testing a lot more easier. Just look at this. I'm in a replay mode right now. So do you see, as soon as price is printing a candle in 1 minute chart, this right here is also showing you candles for 5 minutes. And it's not only doing that, it's also marking the open, body high, body close, and the close of the candles, right? So you get to see the whole thing: accumulation, manipulation, distribution in each of these candles. And you can customize as you want. Just look at this indicator. It's such a nice indicator. Like, even if it's paid, you want this indicator in your chart. So that's a macro. Our macro zone started right now. Do you see how this indicator plotted our time? New York macro from 9:20 to 9:35. So let's see if price does present us any setup in between this zone. Let's look at US 500. US 500 also took buy side liquidity here. So US 500 also did offered uh, stop hunt, but US 500 generated equal highs. Look at this. Look at this pair. That's why I hate US 500, you know? Like, when I have a clean idea on US 30, US 500 does not agree with that. Look at this. Look at these clean levels. Anyway, let's see on let's go back on US 30. Let's see what price does. Our draw on liquidity is on here. Keep in mind that. Let's look at dollar. What dollar is doing. Dollar. So I told you I want to see price remain heavy on US 100, right? That's our nearest drawn liquidity. That's swing low, and after that we can target this swing low right here. Our nearest drawn liquidity is here. Our next drawn liquidity is here. DXY. So DXY getting support from where? Just look at this candle. DXY came all the way up, generated a fair value gap inside where? Inside the zone that I shared you. This 0.5 and 0.75, right? And price did hit a fair value gap here. So for me to remain bullish on dollar, I want to see price getting support from this fair value gap and not coming down and closing a candle's body below the midway. If it does, I'm bearish on dollar. That's how you do it. That's how you trade. That's how you know what price is gonna do. If you are sticking with one bias, right, bullish bias on dollar, how you will trade? Because price itself is constantly changing. For if you are a long-term trader, then a long-term bias for you is good. For me, I'm a short-term trader, so very rarely that I care about bias. Okay, if you are enjoying this live stream, I want you to hit the thumbs up, and that's what I want from you. Anyway, so BBTT is asking, are these macros universal? What do you mean by universal? It only works on indices. It does not work on Forex. It does not work on Bitcoin, so it's not universal. So on 5 minutes, what do you see? Price getting rejected. So that's what we're gonna see, right? We are inside of our macro zone, 920 to 930. That's our macro. We had a macro 820 to 830. Did price presented a setup in between this time? No. But on my last live stream, I showed you a setup in between this time, right? When I tell you it forms every day, it does form in different macro zones. There's so many macros, so you will find a breaker block setup forming in between these macro zones every day. But if price is, this right here is a high resistance liquidity run. That's how you know when price is in a high resistance liquidity run or not. That the price action that you are seeing right here, that's a high resistance liquidity run. But That the price action that you saw before 8:30, that was a low resistance liquidity run. Why it's a low resistance liquidity run? Because price was moving aggressively towards its target. We know our target is relative equal lows, but is price aggressive? Is price is volatile? No, it's just chopping around. It's very resistance to go to this target, right? So that's why that's a high resistance liquidity run. And for high probability setup, we want to see price in a low resistance liquidity run. So I'm just going to be very cautious. So let's see what price does. Yes, US30 does look good for a potential setup. Why? Because US30 did offered buy side liquidity couple of times, right? And we have a major level, major pool of sell side liquidity right here. Do you see that? That's a very clean lows. Look at these lows right here, right here, then here, then here, then this time again here. So me personally, if price is closing candles body below, I'm taking this trade. Until then, I'm just gonna wait. That's a very clean zone. Go on to the 1 minute chart. This indicator that I'm showing you, the power of 3, is not free, it's paid, and you can find it on 2 degrees Twitter. I showed you his Twitter when I started the stream, so when the stream ends you can go back and check out. And the other indicator, this macro indicator, this one is free, so you can get access to this indicator from his Twitter. Let's look at DXY. What do you see DXY doing? DXY moving aggressively towards the upside, right? So I want to see DXY remain heavy towards buy side. US 100 doing the exact very thing I told you. US 500 same. So we are looking at US Nasdaq. Someone is asking on chat, Dale. Yes, I do look on Nasdaq, but I do not trade on Nasdaq. I do analysis. And when price was there, I gave you two targets: this swing low and this swing low right here. That's our nearest drawn liquidity, and our next drawn liquidity is here. It's 928. Let's go on to the okay. What price did? It's 928. So volatility came before 930. So that's the kind of thing you'll see before, like in CPI days. Like before there's a high impact news, price does these things, like price becomes volatile suddenly out of nowhere. There's no news and anything, it's just volatile. So that's why I told you when I started my stream, I'll be very cautious to take a trade today. I don't want to see price coming all the way up and offering more buy side liquidity. If it does, then our 920 to 930 macro is not valid. We will wait and we will look for setup in 950 to 1010 macro. Do you saw any clean setup on US30 today? No, there was no clean setup. It's just chopping around. So price generated more sell side liquidity, right? More relative equal lows, right? So that's another equal low. Is it an SMT with US 500? Yes, it created a SMT with US 500. If price was coming all the way down and uh took this swing low, then I would have entered here because this down close candles becomes a breaker block. But did price did anything here significant? Did price took any swing low? No. So let's just watch. And I told you, like, I this relative equal high on US 500, that's what I didn't like, because when price creates relative equal high and creates relative equal lows at the same time, it becomes very confusing for me that what price will hunt first. So price is in a premium PDRA, 3-minute chart, nothing significant on 3-minute chart. Okay, that's a candle I want to see price getting rejected from. We still have 5 minutes and I'm still looking for a trade idea, right? We wait for our setup till 9:35. So let's see what the next candle does. After this candle closes below, I will wait to see what the next candle does. Okay, I'm in this trade. My target is this relative equal lows. That's a 2 hour for me. I executed. If it's coming all the way up, I'm in a loss, so I don't care. Let's see what price does. That's what I'm seeing actually. So I'm taking the risk. I entered and my risk is 0.25% because you can see the choppiness in price action, right? My target is here. That would be like a 3 hour trade for me. But let's see what price does. I'm risking 0.5%, 0.25%. In a normal day, I risk something around like 0.5%. I never risk 1% in any trade. I do not care. I never risk. Oh my god, look at US 500. It's moving so fast. In US 30, just chopping around. What the hell is happening on US 30? Let's go. Let's go, US 30. Let's give me 3R. Oh my god, why is it so choppy? I want volatility, US 30. Show that to me. Chat, like the live stream if you're enjoying it. If you wanna see US 30 volatile, hit the like button. Let's see how far we can go. 400 people watching. Can we get to 300 likes? Can we do that? Chat, can we do that? Oh my god, why is it in a high resistance liquidity run? Right? We can see our target. I've been telling you since I started my live stream, that's our draw on liquidity. And what do you see on US 30? This pair is on high resistance liquidity run. It's not moving the way I want it to move. Oh my god, no. Don't do that. Anyway, very less that I care about this trade. It's getting boring right now. Okay, our macro zone is over. It's 9:35. So I'm not gonna take any new entry. I just wanna see price coming all the way down and hitting this internal sell side liquidity. Who is getting emotional? I'm not getting emotional. I'm only expecting US30 like US 500. Look at US 500. It's so volatile, right? But what did you saw on US30? It's not volatile. It's not respecting any trend line. Masood, you are blocked. You are retail. The people who talk about trend lines here, I don't want them to watch this live, to be honest. Look at this price action. Oh my god. It's chopping around, chopping around. What I want to see price smashing through these equal lows. Yeah, reason is saying we should see a drop soon. Yes, that's what I'm expecting. That's what I was telling since I started the live stream. Anyway, let's look at dollar. Wow, look at US 100. It's on 15-minute chart. It's not on 1 minute. When price was here, right? When price was here at this level, I told you that I want to see price remain heavy to our sell side, and I gave you two targets. Do you guys remember? Chat, let me know if you remember. Me saying that we have two targets on NASDAQ, right? That's the target, that's the swing low, and I initially gave you another target. One indication, folks, you never will hear me saying, okay, if price does that, then I'm like something else. I never gave you two indication. I only give you one indication, and it does that. Someone is saying I'm inaccurate on US30. I'm accurate on US30, but US30 is on high resistance liquidity run. If it's not, if it's not doing the thing that I wanna see uh, till 9:40, I'm closing this trade. Okay, so I'm out. That was a why am I out? Because I don't want to see price coming all the way up and hitting this breaker block again and again. What I wanted to see price remaining heavy towards sell side. If you are still holding, you can hold and let like put your stop loss above these last down close candles, right? You can put your stop loss up there and you can target this. That's a 3 hour trade. But me personally, I'm out. I don't want to hold anymore. My stop loss was above this here, above this last down close candle, last two down close candle that you see. My stop loss was above there. I closed it because I don't want to see price coming all the way up, right? I wanted to see price remain heavy to our sell side. Anyway, let's go on US 100. Let's look at dollar, what dollar is doing. Well, dollar is also chopping around. See, the time I closed it, after that it did hit the stop loss, right? So do you see how I know when price will hit my stop loss before it actually does? When price was here, I told you like, yes, you can look for a trade. And yes, like I told you, like when it was here, I told you to close it if you are in a trade. And what did price did? Price went above and hit the stop loss. When price was here, right? I told you to close the trade. Why? Why did I told you to close the trade? Why I myself closed the trade? Because price was coming all the way up, and price price did came all the way up here, right? One time, and that's the time when I wanted to see price remain heavy towards sell side, but price didn't do that. Price came all the way up again, and when price was here, I told you to I'm closing, I'm done, and I took like 0.1% loss. That was a 0.25% loss if I was holding, but I closed early, so that was like a 0.1%. So that's nothing for me. I do not care about this loss because in my next trade, I can make more than that. It's just a failure trade, and we learned from that, right? We wanted to see, we had a clean target here, but did price presented us the setup that we looked for? Yes, it did. It closed the candle's body below the breaker block. It did got retraced again from this breaker block, right here at this portion, but it did came up again, and that's how it is. So let's go on dollar. The other pairs, US 100 and US 500, are very nice today, right? Masud. Masud is saying I was right. You should combine ICT with retail, bro. Yes, I will if you can do what I'm doing live. I think I blocked Masud. How is he talking again? Okay, so did US 100 did the things that I was expecting, but on US 30 it did not, right? So do you see how I know that my trade will hit stop loss before it actually does? I can tell you how to look for a setup before it actually does, and today you saw that I can also know when to close a trade before it actually hits my stop loss. If you remember, my stop loss was something like this, right? Something like this, and my target was like this. And when price came in the middle zone, I told you to close the trade. I closed the trade. I'm done. I told you I'm done. And what do you see? And the very next candle, price doing? Price went all the way up and hit our stop loss, right? So 0.110% loss. And anyway, so let's look for what price gonna do now. We have 950 to 1010 macro, right? So let's see what price does. Yes, so someone is saying like US 500 and US 100 did hit our targets. That's the reason why we saw US 30 very choppy in high resistance liquidity run. On US 500, right, when I gave you the signal to enter on breaker block, US 500 and US 100 was very volatile, and my signal was correct on other pairs, but on US 30 it wasn't correct. It was on high resistance liquidity run. If it was not on high resistance liquidity run, then it would have been a very good trade, right? So we came back to our hourly breaker block. When I started the stream, I showed you an hourly breaker block right here. right? When I started, the stream price was here. When price was passing through, I told you I see a breaker block on hourly chart. So if I wanna, if I'm expecting bearish price action, I wanna see price rejecting from this breaker block. And if price does not reject from this breaker block, I'm bullish. So let's go on to the 5-minute chart and let's see what price does inside this breaker block. So that's what you want to learn from someone. You want to learn when you want to learn something, like you want to know when price will hit your stop loss. Okay, before it hits your stop loss, you want to close it. You want to see a setup before it forms. Okay, and you also want to know like how this setup will paint out, right? If this setup is gonna be like in a low resistance liquidity run or in a high resistance liquidity run, and that's what I'm doing in front of you. That's what I do. That's how I trade personally. Okay, so let's go on to 1-minute chart. I do not see any setup yet, and we are getting close to our macro zone, right? Look at US 500. Look at ES. ES is so volatile today. It's moving so nicely. The moves that I expected on US30, I'm seeing it on US 500. Why? Why, Chad? Why is it happening to me today? I guess it's because of the news, you know. Okay, someone here named Dave is saying he just lost his two funded accounts by taking signals from me. Oh my god. Bro, you lost two funded accounts in two trades? You are a very good example of the things that we should avoid, like, right? Dave is a very good example of retail. He lost his accounts in two trades. So price is inside of our premium zone, right? From this swing low, swing high. And if you want to get more precise, you can measure it from this swing high, right? I'm on 5-minute chart. Let's clear some drawings. It's getting choppy. I like everything clear. Premium to discount. Okay. So what do you see happening here? From this swing high to this swing low, price came up, price hit the premium zone, right? And in this premium zone, we have our hourly breaker block, right? And I marked the breaker block. If I take you on 60-minute chart, I only marked the breaker block like the last three down close candles. So let's see if price shows us any rejection on lower time frames in between this zone, right? Price is in a premium zone right here, right? From this swing high to this swing low, if you measure this swing, price did came all the way up in premium, and price did hit a higher time frame breaker block right here, right? So let's see on 3-minute chart if price presents us any setup, and we are close to our macro zone, right? 950 to 1010. That's a ICT approved macro. That's a powerful macro. Okay, so the people who did not follow the risk management, when I entered in this trade, I told you that I'm taking only 0.25% risk, which is lower than the normal risk that I take, 0.5% in a normal day. So I told you, I warned you, and even after that, if you lose your whole account in one trade, I'm not the one who to blame, right? So we got a retracement from this hourly breaker block, right? So let's see what price does. If price is presenting a setup in between 950 to 1010, then I'll take a trade. And that would be my last trade for today. So let's see what price does. I don't see any breaker block setup here. Price did took a swing high, right? Price did had a higher high here, and price did came all the way up, and so that becomes our new higher high. So now we need a breaker block, and the breaker block that I see on 1 minute chart is here. If you go on 3 minute chart, that big down close candle, that's a breaker block. I need strong confirmation than that. That's a very low confirmation for me. I need a strong confirmation. I need a clean breaker block. Okay, so success for you is saying I short the NAS, Dave, and it's doing well, lol. FMG NAS short now. Before you saw this move coming, I told you guys that that move was incoming. So success for you, you are late to give us a signal. This signal was already given. We expected price to drop before it dropped on 15-minute chart. We expected, we predicted this drop when price was here. So if you suppose, if you have another setup, you execute on fair value gap. If I take you on 1 minute chart, you of course will find a fair value gap to execute here, right? I'm not executing on NAS, but that doesn't mean you cannot execute on NAS, right? Maybe NAS is your pair, and NAS is doing exactly the thing that I'm telling you to it will do. NAS presented a lot of gold setup. Look at this. NAS respected this fair value gap. Then NAS respected this fair value gap, right? Look at how many times NASDAQ US 100 respected fair value gap. And before all this move happened, I gave you a signal here, but I didn't give you a setup. A setup, that's what you want to look for. I only trade on US30, so I'm gonna only look for setup on US30. But I know what US 500 and US 100 is gonna do, and it did exact the same thing. US 100, that was very clear. So on US30, I do not see a setup. Still, I do not see a setup. Joshua Inside is saying calling bias is no big deal. It's the right entry levels that, yeah, that's the perfection. But anyone can call the bias, right? I gave you guys my bias on yesterday's live stream. It was bearish, and what do you see here? It's a bearish price action, right? I gave you the bias on US 100 when it was here. I told you it's gonna be bearish, and it was bearish. But the thing is that you have to look for a setup. You cannot just execute after you know your bias, right? So me personally, I only execute on breaker block. If I don't see a breaker block, I do not care about other confirmation. I will not execute, but you can. Me, my live stream are a background noise for you. Okay, always think my live stream like this. My live stream are a background noise. I'm not impacting on your analysis. I don't want to impact on your live trades. What I'm doing here, I'm trading live, and that's what you are here to watch, right? It's not a guarantee that you will win every time that I take a trade. I personally, I do not win, and I do not care if I lose. Why? Because I'm risking so much less when I'm losing, and I'm risking like more than that. I'm gaining more than that when I'm winning. Do you guys remember our last stream 2 hours? So for me to get like in a losing streak, I'll have to go through like 5 losses, and that to me actually never happened after I was executing only on macro. Yes, Samsung email. He's asking, can you talk a little bit more about breaker block? Yes, I will do talk a little bit more. Not a little bit more. I will talk a lot about breaker block when I will do a live stream on Bitcoin. So I'm thinking about doing a live stream on Bitcoin today. Okay, so that will be the breaker block whole break. I'm not gonna talk about it here, but I'll just show you what I'm seeing on Bitcoin for a long term. I will make a video or I will come live on Bitcoin and I will talk about the breaker block setup in details and I will predict the price on Bitcoin. So if you guys are interested in crypto, right, you can watch that live stream that I will do. My next live stream will be on Bitcoin and on crypto. Me personally, I trade on US30, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. That's the three pair that I trade personally. On weekends, I trade on Bitcoin, and on like weekdays, I trade on US30. Okay, so price is coming up, right? Do you see it here? So if price takes out this swing high, then we'll have a breaker block to execute. Right here, that will be our breaker block to execute. I have a lot of things in my chart. I want everything clean, and we are inside of our hourly breaker block, right? So that's like a strong confirmation. Now let's see what price shows us. We will wait till 10:10. Look at this. The volatility in price action is coming like suddenly. You wanna trade in this condition, or you wanna take trade when like the condition we had the last live stream. Do you remember in our last live stream, price was in a low resistance liquidity run, and price was hitting our target like very fast. But what do you see here? Price becomes volatile out of nowhere. That's the reason why ICT tells us to avoid trading when there's a high impact news incoming, like CPI, FOMC. This week is full of high impact news. If you are expecting your trades to like give you wins again and again, you are very wrong. Very few people in this world can take a trade and be winner in this before the high impact news. So we have an order block right here. And what do you see? Price rejecting off from this order block, right? But we don't have a breaker block here. So I'm mentioning this order block because I know some of you take trades with other confirmations. So that's the order block inside of a breaker block, right? So if you take a trade with order block, that could be a signal for you as it's inside of our macro zone. I'm not telling you to take a trade. It depends on you if you want to take a trade or not. I'm just analyzing the market. So that's the order block, right? We don't want to see price coming. If this order block is like providing support to us downside, we don't want to see price coming up again and closing a candle's body above the order block. That's what we don't want to see. We want to see price remain heavy towards sell side, right? To me personally, I want to see this order block fail. Why? Because I need a breaker block to execute, right? But some of you do not take trades with breaker block, so you can look for order block. That's what I'm talking. Does crypto have macro? No. Crypto does not have a time zone where it becomes volatile. It just becomes volatile. Like one day you will see it becoming volatile at 8 a.m. Then another day you will see it becoming volatile at 12 p.m. Right? On Bitcoin, on crypto, you never know when the volatility will come. But on indices, stock, on forex, you know that when the volatility will come. We have kill zones, right? We have ICT kill zones on forex, on indices, but that's what we lack on crypto. That's why most of the ICT traders do not trade on like crypto, because you cannot bound crypto in time. You will see clean setup in crypto and you can execute, but there's no macro on crypto. I do use a personal time zone on crypto for my macro. I have two macros on like crypto. That's my personal macro. It's not ICT approved, and I'm not gonna share that. So that's our relative equal low on US 500. Just look at US 500. US 500 is moving so nicely. Okay, do you guys know what a propulsion block is? Do you guys know? I see a live example of propulsion block here. So if you guys want to know about propulsion block, I will talk about it and hit the like button. I'll show you a propulsion block here. The people who don't know what a propulsion block is, they can hit the like button, and then I will tell what a propulsion block is here. Okay, so that's our propulsion block. And what do you see? Price remain, right? Rejected from this propulsion block, right? What is this? Is it a propulsion block or is it a rejection block? Name it. Is it a propulsion block or is it a rejection block? Yes. Thank you. So I do see a lot of you are like into ICT stuff, and thank you for telling me that. So that's not a propulsion block. That's a rejection block. And thank you for telling me that. I wanted to see how many of you are actually studying, because a lot of you are here a beginner. So thank you for that. Thank you for responding. So for a breaker block to form, I told you that I need price to come all the way up and take out this swing high, right? Now let's see if price does present as a breaker block. We have relative equal highs on US30. If I take you on 3-minute chart, what do you see here? That's a relative equal high, right? So I wanted to see price taking this relative equal high before this all this down move, but price did not do that. Price just left this relative equal high, and I told you when I started the stream, I marked this relative equal high, and I told you that I don't like this relative equal high. Right? So price can hunt this relative equal high, and we have another high right here. So I'm not looking for any new setup, because I told you, like, if price is coming all the way up and hitting the 60-minute breaker block again, I will not take a trade. And what do you see here? Price is moving aggressively towards buy side. And what do you see on US 500? Me personally, I do not like this kind of price action. Look at this. Price left this relative equal lows, right? And then price is moving towards the upside. If price was doing something like this, like suppose price came down, took this took this swing low, and then price went above, right? So this would have been our breaker block. So do you see price giving us a setup here? No. So me personally, I told you before I started the stream, I do not like this price action, and this will be a very boring price action. For me, it's a very boring price action because it's not doing what I wanted to see. It does, right? And what did I tell you? On hourly chart, I told you that if price is coming all the way up, I marked this breaker block, right? That's a breaker block. I told you that I don't want to see price coming all the way up and closing a candle's body above the midway of this breaker block, right? And what do you see price did? Price did exactly the thing that I didn't want it to see. Yes, we are inside of our ICT silver bullet zone 10 to 11. And if you refine the silver bullet zone, you will get the macro. You will get the 10 950 to 1010 macro in between inside of the silver bullet zone. Okay, I'm not interested in any more trades. Me personally, I'm done for today. So that's our break. That was our breaker block. Let's go. We had a clean target here, right? Equal low, but price did not offer that, and we are not sad because of that, because I know price will give me more setups in future. Once price has no like high impact news, then price will give me the setup, and I just have to show price that I'm patience, and I'm patient. I'm very patient here. Okay, let's analyze chart without breaker block. I'm gonna close my stream here, and before I do, I'm gonna give you the analysis on what price did. So we had a fair value gap right here. That's a hindsight analysis, okay? We have a fair value gap here. Price came all the way down, and look at the rejection in this fair value gap. What did price did? Did price close the candle's body below the midway? No. So we want to see price remain heavy towards the upside. We did saw price remain heavy towards the upside, right? It's inside of our silver bullet zone. And what does ICT tells us to look in between silver bullet zone? What does it tells us? Do you guys know? Let me know in the chat section. What is a silver bullet? That's what I'm asking. Yes, so what do you see here? A silver bullet. You guys are right, and silver bullet did paint out here, right? And it did presented you a like a 5 handle run. Suppose you are looking for a trade idea in between 10 to 11 by using ICT silver bullet zone. So look at this. That's a very clean setup even on US30. We know US30 in a high resistance liquidity band, right? It's chopping around, but in silver bullet zone, price did became clear. Price came down here, and if you were like only taking trades in silver bullet zone, I'll give you some more analysis. Look at this swing low. That's a swing low, right? So price came all the way down. Price cleared this swing low. Price generated another new lower low, right? So this becomes our breaker block. But I wasn't expecting that, so that's why I didn't saw it. So price moved aggressively towards the breaker block. So you could have taken an entry from this fair value gap, and then this from this this breaker block. And what do you see here? These are our order block, right? So price give us a lot of signal in between 10 to 11 a.m. to look for a 5 handle run, right? Suppose you are entering here, you are getting 5 handle. You are entering in this breaker block, you are getting 5 handle. You are entering in this order block, and you are getting a 5 handle. That's a magic of ICT concept. But that's not my model, right? It may be your model, and you can look for it, but I have my own model My model is the macro model that I do, so I'm gonna stick with it. That's another model, right? Silver bullet zone. You are taking trades with fair value gaps, but in future I will keep in mind the silver zone. Look at this. Look at this price action. It's hunting these relative equal lows, relative equal highs. So price did generated. Let's go on 5-minute chart. Price did generated this relative equal high, right? And when do you see price coming up and taking it out? After 9:30. Price generated this equal high before 8, before the open, before the New York liquidity injection at 8:30. All this move was before 8:30, and after 9:30 price reversed, right? That's what basically a Judah swing does. A Judah swing is basically a reversal in price action. So today we saw a rejection in price action, a reversal, but I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting price to take out these relative equal lows and then a reversal, right? If you remember, I told you like something like this. If price is coming down and taking out these relative equal lows, and then I will look for a reversal. That was my plan, but anyway, price generated a lot of clean level of sell side liquidity, so we can target it like in our coming trading days. I won't do a live stream tomorrow, but I will do a live stream on CPI and on FOMC. We will not take a trade before the CPI. We will look for setup like after, not on Wednesday. Sorry, on Thursday. On Thursday, I will do a live stream on Wednesday. Sorry, on Wednesday, but I will not look for any setup. I will just do commentaries like this, because look at that. We got 8 news at 8:30. We got news at 10. We got news at 2. And all of these are like major high impact news. CPI, BOC, FOMC. Me, I'm not taking a trade tomorrow. The day after that, the day after that on PMI, I can. After 8:30, I will. Okay? But the rest of these 2 days, I'll just ignore and I'll just do tape reading, completely tape reading. Okay, what do you see on Nasdaq? And I'll close my tape reading session right here. On Nasdaq, price did came down here. Price did offer sell side liquidity here, and why I didn't marked. Okay, that's a very good question, but I don't know why no one asked me that. That's a swing low, right? But I did not mark the swing low as our target. I marked the whole swing for our target, because what? That's a rejection block, right? And what do you see? Price rejecting from this rejection block, right? So you can target this candle's body. You will see ICT telling you every time candle's body is where the liquidity is. The weak is for manipulation, is for the damage. So price came all the way down, took liquidity from the candle's body. So you can, if you took this trade, you could have like placed your TP in this swing in this candle's body rather than putting it here. Why? Just to be safe, you know. Look at this. That's a rejection block, and price is rejecting off from this rejection block. And if you come down onto the US30, you will see a lot of rejection block today. Look at this swing low. Look at this week right here. It's on US30. That's a rejection block, right? Let's mark the rejection block. Extend right. What do you see? Price came all the way down, hit the rejection block, right? Price took the liquidity from the candle's body. Look at this. Look at the precision. That's how you know price is running with the algo. Price came all the way down. Price took the liquidity from the candle's body. That's why ICT tells you to look at candle's body rather than looking at candle's wick. Do you see how it's a very, very good example of rejection block, and you are seeing it uh, on a 3-minute chart. It's happening live in front of you. And what do you see happening here? If I take you guys back like in past price behavior, what is this? What is this week right here? That's a rejection block, right? If I mark the rejection block right here and take you onto the, what do you see price did here before? Price did came all the way down. Price hit the rejection block, and from where price took the liquidity? From this candle's body, right? Price did came all the way down and price got rejected from this week. And if you measure the week, right? If you seek more precision, if you seek more knowledge, and if you are not lazy, you will measure the rejection block, right? And what do you see? If I extend it out on time, wait, let me extend it. Okay, I cannot extend it like this. Oh my god, it's gonna take a lot of time. Anyway, look at that. Did price close any candle's body below the midway of this fair value of this rejection block? No. And from where, from which zones you see price getting volatile, price getting aggressive? From the midway and from the 0.75, right? And if you come down here again and again, you will see more examples of rejection block. That's how you learn. The people who are lazy, they won't look for this setup. They will think like, okay, price just did that. Why should I look for this thing right now? You are learning, bro. I'm learning. You are learning with me. That's what we are doing here. Look at this. Look at this movement, right? So I told you if price was like closing candle's body above our 60-minute, above the midway of our 60-minute breaker block, we will see price offering more buy side liquidity, and we saw that price did not present any clean setup. Okay, I got a comment from someone. I can see the comment, like he's saying that the time when I gave you guys a signal, that wasn't a breaker block. Why it's a not he for a breaker block, right? That's a I'll if you guys are like I will not do any live commentaries right now. I will just review what I was looking at, because I see a lot of you are confused about my last trade. Why I saw this candle as a breaker block, right? That's a question. That's a very nice question, and I want to answer that before I close. Do you see a swing low, swing here? For a swing to get generated, a price will have to have a candle body above it, right? So what do you see here? This candle. Look at this candle. Did price close the candle's body below this black candle? No. Oh my god. Okay. So this is a swing point. Look at the candles next to it. It's a candle that is above it, and it's a candle that is above it. So that's a swing point for me. That's a breaker block for me. And what do you see here? Price closed the candle's body below the breaker block, right? That was a confirmation. But I did not give you the signal after price closed the candle's body below the breaker block. I told you the less wait and let's see what price does. And what price did? Price came all the way up, price rejected. That's a very clean setup for me. I can understand that you are a beginner and you don't see the swing here, because it takes a lot of experience to see, to see this swing. Look at this swing. You won't see this swing if you are a beginner. You need experience to see this swing. And price did what? Price rejected, and the very next candle I told you, like, I'm entering. Look at the rejection. And we had a clean target, right? We had an equal low. But price did what? Price rejected. It was beautiful. It was rejecting from this breaker block beautifully. You may not agree that this is a breaker block, but price does agree with me it's a breaker block. Every setup will fail. Okay, if you tell me that that's not a breaker block, then I can mark hundreds of fair value gaps to you and tell you that's not a fair value gap, right? So as soon as price came all the way up right here, I told you to close the trade. Do you saw any emotions in me? No, I wasn't emotional. I was logical. Okay, and the very next candle, price did went up and hit our stop loss, right? You can go back and rewind the live stream. It's all there. It's all clear. There was no emotion. All was logic. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's live stream. And I do not care about this loss. If you are caring about this loss, you should not be here. So anyway, I hope you learned something. If it was insightful, and then I hope to see you in the next live stream, and take care. Have a nice trading day. I'm done for today. I will not look at price and look for any other setup, because look at this. Look at the choppiness, right? This price action does not interest me anymore. You guys just don't want me to close, right? Everyone is asking me questions.
Look at NAS. Look at US 500. If I keep doing that, I can do commentaries like the whole New York session, and it won't be beneficial. If I don't see a setup, what's the point of me commenting? So I still targeting this swing low, right? Because price is rejecting. As long as, so I'll give you another confirmation for a setup. That's a fair value gap on 15 minutes, right? So if you are in a short, you don't want to see price closing a candle's body above the midway of this fair value gap. If you see that, close your trade. It will reverse because price got rejected from this swing low, from this swing point, right? That's a rejection block. And if price is closing candle's body above the break, above the fair value gap, above the midway of fair value gap, then that's another confirmation for us to remain heavy towards buy side, right? But as long as price is not closing candle's body above the midway of fair value gap, you can stick with your trade and you can target this swing low right here. So I'm closing here, guys. Take care. Bye bye. It was a nice session with you all, and thank you for showing the patience. And that's how we do it. If you enjoy it, hit the thumbs up, and I expect you to see in the next live stream. Take care. Bye bye.